Hi, my name's Rich, and today we're going to be covering the Soulknife subclass for the Rogue in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Now, before we get started, if this is your first time then, thanks for stopping by and watching the video. If you're interested in any of the other subclasses from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, check out the playlist in the description. And if you like what you're watching, don't forget to leave a like and a subscribe. So, let's get some background on the Soulknife subclass. Most assassins strike with physical weapons, and many burglars and spies use thieves' tools to infiltrate secure locations. In contrast, a Soulknife strikes and infiltrates with the mind, cutting through barriers both physical and psychic. These rogues discover psionic power within themselves and channel it to do their roguish work. They find easy employment as members of thieves' guilds, though they are often mistrusted by rogues who are leery of anyone using strange mind powers to conduct their business. Most governments would also be happy to employ a Soulknife as a spy. Amid the trees of ancient forests, on the material plane and in the Feywild, some wood elves walk the path of the Soulknife, serving as a silent, lethal guardian of the woods. In the endless war among the Gith, a Githzerai is encouraged to become a Soulknife when stealth is required against the Githyanki foe. As a Soulknife, your psionic abilities might have haunted you since you were a child, only revealing their full potential as you experienced the stress of adventure. Or you might have sought out a reclusive order of psychic adepts and spent years learning how to manifest your power. They're great at using skills and tools, making sure the team can relay information long distance between each other. They can deal a lot of damage, summoning psychic blades at will. They don't need to carry a weapon with them, so they can infiltrate more sensitive settings, like a king's parlour for example. At later levels, they can teleport and even stun targets. One of the most powerful abilities the monk has is borrowed for the level 17 Soulknife feature. So, let's get started and go through all of the abilities, shall we? At level 3, you gain access to the psionic power ability. You harbour a wellspring of psionic energy within yourself. This energy is represented by your psionic energy dice, which are each a d6. You have a number of these dice equal to twice your proficiency bonus, and they are the fuel of various psionic powers you have. It's worth noting that the psionic energy dice used in the Psi Knight for a fighter subclass and the Soulknife are separate entities entirely. There is no crossover, only a common name. Some of your powers expend the psionic energy die they use, and you can't use a power if all your die are expended. You regain all your expended psionic energy dice when you finish a long rest. In addition, as a bonus action, you can regain one expended psionic energy die, but you can't do it again until you finish a short or long rest. This is not a full short rest recovery, but the fact you can get one back gives you a degree of flexibility. It doesn't make short rests completely redundant. It's almost similar to the wizard's arcane recovery feature, where they can regain their spell slot depending on their wizard level and from a short rest. With psionic power, the Soulknife can use psi-bolstered knack. When your non-psionic training fails you, your psionic power can help. If you fail an ability check using a skill or tool with which you have proficiency, you can roll one psionic energy die and add the number rolled to the check, potentially turning the failure into a success. And this is the most important part. You expend the die only if the roll succeeds. So this should encourage people to roll as much as possible. You shouldn't be holding on to your precious die and be afraid to use this ability. If you don't succeed, there's nothing lost. At level 3, you also get Psychic Whispers. You can establish a telepathic communication between yourself and others, perfect for quiet infiltration. As an action, choose one or more creature you can see, up to the number of creatures equal to your proficiency bonus, and then roll one psionic energy die. For a number of hours equal to the number rolled, the chosen creature can speak telepathically with you, and you can speak telepathically with them. To send or receive a message, no action is required. You and the other creature must be within 1 mile of each other. A creature can't use this telepathy if it can't speak any languages, and a creature can end the telepathic connection at any time. No action required. You and the creature don't need to speak a common language to understand each other. The first time you use this power, after each long rest, you don't expend a psionic energy die. All of the times, you expend the die. This is a really powerful ability, especially at 3rd level, and can open up your exploration and roleplay potential to a great degree. It's almost like having a WhatsApp group message between all your other players. It's worth noting that you can contact them telepathically, but they can't contact each other. So with some clever arrangement from the DM, you can almost have a game of telephone, passing messages on to each other and hoping that it doesn't get lost in translation. But the ability to have a psychic walkie-talkie is going to fundamentally change the way you play the game, especially if you're using it to gather information, and you can use this to split the party up. You can use it for non-combat encounters to gather information, or in combat encounters you can more stealthily sneak around and be able to get your sneak attack off a lot easier if the enemy doesn't know you're coming. Also at level 3, you get Psychic Blades. You can manifest your psionic power as a shimmering blade of psychic energy. Whenever you take the attack action, you can manifest a psychic blade from your free hand and make the attack with the blade. This magic blade is a simple melee weapon with the finesse and thrown properties. It has a normal range of 60 feet and no long range. And on hit, it deals psychic damage equal to 1d6 plus the ability modifier you used for the attack roll. The blade vanishes immediately after it hits or misses the target and leaves no mark on the target if it deals damage. After you attack with the blade, you can make a melee or ranged weapon attack with the second psychic blade as a bonus action on the same turn, providing your other hand is free to create it. The damage die for this bonus attack is 1d4 instead of 1d6. The blade vanishing immediately and not leaving a target plays up to the rogue's ability to sneak in and infiltrate undetected. If used correctly, it can be a great way to theme a heist mission. Also, it's a good excuse to pick up a two-handed weapon fighting technique or feat if you get the chance. The 1d6 or 1d4 isn't the focus of the ability, but being able to trigger your sneak attack and get higher damage should scale up quite well with your levels. At level 9, you get the Soul Blades feature. Your psychic blades are now an expression of your psi-fused soul, giving you these powers that use your psionic energy dice. Firstly, you get homing strikes, and secondly, psychic teleportation. With homing strikes, if you make an attack roll with your psychic blades and miss the target, you can roll one psionic energy die and add the number rolled to the attack. If this causes the attack to hit, you expend the psionic energy die. So if the attack misses, then you don't expend it, one would assume by reading this text. And again, that's just reinforcing the chances of your sneak attack to trigger. The level 9 Soul Blades also gives you psychic teleportation. As a bonus action, you manifest one of your psychic blades, expend one psionic energy die and roll it, and throw the blade at an unoccupied space you can see, up to the number of feet away equal to 10 times the number rolled. You then teleport to the space and the blade vanishes. Now, if you've played the Dishonored video game, you should be acutely aware of the blink teleportation skill. It's one of the most fun parts of the game, and being able to recreate this in Dungeons & Dragons will be great fun. At level 13, the Soul Knife gets Psychic Veil. You can weave a veil of psychic static to mask yourself. As an action, you can magically become invisible, along with anything you're wearing or carrying, for up to 1 hour or until you dismiss the effect, and you don't need an action to do this. This invisibility ends early, immediately after you deal damage to a creature, or you force a creature to make a saving throw. Once you use this feature, you can't do it again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a psionic energy die. At level 13, your sneak attack will be quite high, and having the ability to switch on and off invisibility for an hour is not a feature that should be looked down on. At level 17, you learn Rend Mind. You can sweep your psychic blades directly through a creature's mind. When you use psychic blades to deal sneak attack damage to a creature, you can force that target to make a wisdom saving throw. The DC is equal to 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your dexterity mod. If the save fails, the target is stunned for 1 minute. The stunned target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on a success. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, or unless you expend 3 psionic energy die. But at level 17 you've got plus 6 proficiency, so you should have 12 proficiency die. Quite a lot of die to play around with. So all in all, this is a fantastic suite of abilities. Being able to throw or stab people with psychic energy, being able to communicate with people for up to a mile away. If you miss getting the homing strikes, turning invisible, teleporting, and stunning creatures. This is quite a powerful subclass. I would say it's up there with the Arcane Trickster, and is one of the best subclasses for the Rogue. I'm going to have to give this an S-class rank. I think it would be hard-pressed to find a better subclass for the Rogue. You have flexibility in communication, you can be a skill monkey, you can pretty much guarantee your sneak attack goes off, and stunning people, even at level 17, is still a fantastic way to disable a lot of attacks at high levels. Especially if you're fighting one giant target instead of lots of small targets. That's where the Rogue really shines. I almost feel sorry for some of the other subclasses because all of these fantastic abilities should be spread around. But I can't wait to try this subclass out. But I don't know if I'll be able to get to level 17, but it's definitely worth a shot. Well, thanks for watching the video. If you've noticed any mistakes or think that my opinions are wrong, then please let me know in the comments and I'll try to get back to you. We also have a Discord open if you want to continue the conversation or check out some of the builds or scripts or just get to know the rest of the community. There's a Patreon as well, link in the description if you want to help out monetarily. But if you can't help out like that at the moment, I'd be happy with a like and a subscribe. It always helps the algorithm to pick up my videos more. Thanks for watching and I hope you're staying safe. I'll speak to you later. Goodbye.